it looks like it is the same old Leafs, at least for the time being. And you think about certain narratives that have followed this team for a while now. Monday night, Scotiabank Arena, an inferior opponent in town in the Chicago Blackhawks. And I'm at the arena last night and I'm talking to people and I'm asking, what do you think? Is this a trap game? Are we going to learn something different about this team? Are they different? And sure enough, with the way they started the game, turning the puck over, not taking care of the puck, the way they got roasted off the rush, that felt exactly like the Toronto Maple Leafs and what has ailed them in the past. And there's been a few things that have maybe masked the fact that the Leafs have given up a lot of goals to start the season. The fact that Austin Matthews started the season with back-to-back hat tricks. The fact that William Nylander is playing like a stud this year. And the fact that you have a goaltender in Joseph Woll who at times looks like he's poised to take the next step here and assume the starter's position sooner rather than later. But there are some issues that ailed this team. When I look at the Chicago Blackhawks and what they were able to do to the Leafs off the rush last game, 16 scoring chances the Leafs gave up off the rush. 15 of those were off turnovers. The Leafs did not take care of the puck. To put that into perspective, the Ottawa Senators played against the Tampa Bay Lightning over the weekend. The Senators gave up 3 scoring chances off the rush. That's exactly what Sheldon Keefe wants to emulate with his team. He hasn't been able to do it early on in the season. There's a few things as far as the lineup that are going to ail this team if they do not improve. The second pair of John Klingberg and Jake McCabe, right now, it looks like one player wants to be involved in the offensive play. The other player wants to be involved at the same time. It's cost them a few goals. The fact that the Leafs don't have an identity to their third line is an issue. Fraser Minton has done well as a young centerman, but looks like he could be heading back to junior sooner rather than later. What does that mean for a player like Matthew Knies? For a young player like that, he needs a strong centerman in order to be the best version of himself, and we're not seeing the best version of Max Domi quite yet. It looks like he's thinking a little too much on the ice. So when you factor in the fact that you have a third line that lacks an identity, lacks the ability to drive play, lacks the ability to turn things around for you when you need it, a second pair that looks like a liability defensively, not so much offensively, that's a lot of players on your team that aren't going your way. And then the first line, if they don't get off to a great start, which they didn't against Chicago, you see how things can backfire for you. So yes, there's a lot of firepower on this team, but if there's one thing Sheldon Keefe wants to get away from this season, it's not having to outscore your problems. And right now we're still seeing the problems on the defensive side of the puck.